Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Whiskey at Work. We're gonna take a journey, and when I said last week we were gonna take a journey, I didn't realize how boring a journey this was going to be. But we're gonna do it.
You started this.
Well,
I'm blaming you. I mean, I decided we better run with it, but this is your doing.
You did. This was kind of your idea.
No.
You made the comment about rye and whiskey, and then I'm like, hey, here's what we should do.
You texted me while I was on vacation. This is your doing.
I did. But
you started this.
Did I care about it then?
Or you must have. You cared enough to interrupt my vacation with a little anecdote about you.
I did. I'm real good at doing that.
Hey, welcome to my vacation, Houston. Thanks.
We decided to talk because we've never really extensively gone into rye whiskey.
And there's a reason.
There kind of is, and this it kind of sucks really because.
The rye or the reason?
Well, I don't want to judge a whiskey solely on its ingredients. I want to
by its flavor.
Yeah,
That's how I
don't.
whiskey.
Is that how it is? I'm a little more positive and optimistic when it comes to drinking.
You do drink Lafroig, so
sure.
Rye whiskey should not set you back at all.
Rob's a little more pessimistic about this kind of. But okay, so what do you know? What do you know about rye? The plant.
In general, I don't like it.
Really? Take whiskey out of it.
Oh.
What do you know about the crop in general? Anything?
Well, until we started talking, almost nothing. But I think it's kind of a scrub plant that they used kind of back in the beginning to make whiskey, right?
Right. It's
because they could make money off of other crops.
Well, it's grass. Rye is a type of grass. That kind of belongs.
Don't smoke it, folks.
Loosely into the barley family, I think.
Unless you have a card.
Well, we're gonna start that podcast hopefully in about a year. It's.
We thought we needed Uber now.
The reason why it was a big deal is because the Irish and the Scottish immigrants that came over in the 15, 16, 1700s.
And they didn't want to work very hard to make a decent cash crop.
Barley didn't grow in the Northeast. Had nothing to do with them personally.
Not corn.
Well, I don't think corn grows really well in the Northeast either. Does it?
No, but we had a whole big.
I'm pretty sure it didn't. Well, we did, but this is where they were. They hadn't moved west yet. God, just patience, man. Let me get to the story here.
Pardon me the fun in that.
But rye grows anywhere because, like you said, it's kind of a garbage. Well, it's a cover crop. It's a forage crop. That's generally what it's used for. In the Northeast, it grew well. So the Irish and the Scottish, knowing what they knew about making good whiskeys, said, look, we can't get the barley to grow. Let's try rye and make it that way.
Maybe it was already here. Maybe it was already growing.
Well, that's probably exactly it. They just looked around, saw what was plentiful, and then made whiskey out of it, right? Is that how you do? You take what you can?
That's how I would start out, I'm sure.
Right.
All right, continue. I don't want your story to go on any longer than it has to. I'm trying to keep the audience engaged here. So.
But you can't because it's just so boring. So that's all it was. And then for like 200 some years, it was a big deal. It was almost every whiskey you drank had rye in it, almost all of it. And then Prohibition hit, and people learned that we can make better whiskeys. We can make bourbon. Yeah, we can bring over the Irish whiskey and the Scotches, and then it completely fell out of favor until about, 30 years ago, maybe 25, 30 years ago, it kind of started to make a bit of a return.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a huge fan of, since I started down the rabbit hole of whiskey, I've never been a huge rye fan. I think they're good in cocktails and almost required in some instances to make the cocktail quite right, but generally speaking, rye on the rocks or straight I'm out.
Well, what is it about the flavor of it you don't like?
It's weird because it's it's the spice, I think, which I like a nice spicy red wine. Like a Shiraz has got a little more pepper in it.
Such a wine snob. I don't know what that means. A spicy wine.
Yeah, it's got a peppery flavor to it. This in a whiskey, it's better after maybe the second drink, like most whiskeys are.
In an old fashioned.
Or in an old fashioned, but but straight first sip, I'm kind of out. And I'm a huge Jack Daniels fan, if you've
Well,
been paying attention at all. And even this one sets me back a little.
And I think if you're going to, if you're going to dive into rye and try it, I mean, again, just because we don't like it doesn't mean you shouldn't go out and try it for yourself. You may absolutely love it.
There's plenty of it out there. I mean, there's 3 of them or 4 of them here that obviously somebody likes it. So,
right.
You know, they wouldn't make it otherwise. And there are some. I did try a Basil Hayden rye, which I found out is a Jim Beam product, which kind of is Jim Beam. I think it is Jim Beam.
I think so, yeah.
That caught me surprisingly off guard. I really enjoyed it.
Really?
I don't know if that's because this is 70% rye.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where the Basil Hayden lied on the rye factor, but then you interrupted my vacation with a rye that you liked.
It did. It was called Redwood Empire that I found locally here. It's from California, but it was brought into a whiskey bar in our area here. And
can't get him to go out into a whiskey bar with me, but sure.
I do when you're on vacation.
Interrupt.
Rob's on vacation? Honey, let's go to that whiskey bar.
There's no chance we'll run into him there.
Yeah, he's not going to show up. It was, I guess, like you and that Basil Hayden, totally caught me off guard. Never would have thought it was a rye whiskey. But it's almost 90% is what that Redwood Empire is.
Really?
Yes. So it's all rye. And maybe that's it. Maybe it can't just be the 51% that it is required to be. Maybe it has to go all in.
Maybe. Well,
yeah.
This one's 70, so
it's close. And this isn't one of those where I'd be like, well, I'm gonna dump it out. I'm not gonna finish it. This is better than some ryes.
I've finished everything so far.
Rob has never dumped. Well, a couple of flavored whiskeys, maybe. That was it.
I choked my way through them too.
But if something spicier and pepperier is your thing, because to me it tastes like you just dumped a lot of pepper into a whiskey.
Maybe you should start there. Buy a bottle of whiskey that you like. Pour a shot, and then get the pepper grinder out. Give it a try, and then try the rye version of that.
Or just go have somebody make you a really good old fashioned, made with a good rye whiskey.
You're counteracting that with sweet and.
Well, I think that's why they use the rye
and,
is to cut that sweetness out of it, isn't it?
That makes sense.
Yeah, I totally understand, and then it ends up being a perfect drink. But we're gonna try a couple more of these over the next couple of weeks, maybe, or this might be the last one too.
Well, we better try that. We better try the Redwood Empire.
And we've got the Jim Beam back here too, so we'll give all of those a whirl.
Oh, there's a Woodford rye.
Oh, look at there! God, how often do we actually look at this stuff? Ever? Do we have more in the cabinet somewhere
all the good
too?
Stuff is up in my cabinet.
All right, we'll have to go back upstairs. Anyway,
you guys should come by.
A good place to start is.
I tried to give the sheriff a drink earlier today. He wasn't biting. He had to go to work.
Once we've hit that level where we're giving the police alcohol, I
was trying to bribe him to not have his people park in the parking lot tonight when I leave here. So
I don't think that's going to work for you, pal. You want me to give you a ride home? Get you a lift? All right. Anyway.
We'll have a couple more and figure it out.
Thanks for watching Whisey Work.